But I got to start right now with big news coming out of the murder case against Tyler Robinson. So he, again, of course, the man accused of assassinating conservative activist and Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk. Now, LA Magazine is reporting that new court filings reveal that prosecutors have locked in a potentially devastating witness. This is Robinson's former roommate and alleged lover, Lance Twiggs. So the documents reveal that prosecutors have given limited, quote, use immunity to Twiggs in exchange for a recorded statement under oath. And earlier this week, we learned that Twiggs was given limited use immunity for statements that he made to investigators about text messages between the two, including that Robinson allegedly admitted to shooting Kirk, that he hid the gun, that he got rid of his clothes, that he told Twiggs not to talk to police. Those are all the allegations. And prosecutors seem to want to use that recorded statement in a preliminary hearing next month, along with those text messages. But Robinson's attorneys, unsurprisingly, are saying, wait, hold on a second. If Twiggs is going to have testimony that's recorded, how's that fair? How can we cross-examine him? Don't we have a right to that? And they're asking the judge to require Twiggs to testify in person. So joining me to help break all this down, I'm joined by trial attorney, legal analyst, my friend Richard Schoenstein in his best Knicks gear. Actually went to the Knicks parade. It was pretty amazing.
World champion.
That's
New
right.
York Knicks.
That's right. Use immunity. Why does he need immunity?
Well, use immunity is limited to the information he's providing, the statements he's making. Now, as I read this, what he's doing is authenticating these text messages that Tyler Robinson allegedly sent. He's just getting immunity for the statements that he gives there. He's not getting blanket immunity for any involvement he may have had in the crime. It's different.
But why even need that? People testify about things all the time, unless he had some sort of liability.
Well, he could take the fifth, right? I mean, anybody.
What did he do wrong? What did he do wrong?
I don't know that he did anything wrong, but if you want him, you need him to get these text messages into evidence. The prosecution wants to use the text messages. They have to prove they're real text messages between Robinson and this other guy, and they can't get Robinson's testimony, so they have to get his testimony.
Is it interesting to have a recorded interview at a preliminary hearing? Don't we usually see people testify at preliminary hearings?
Not at a preliminary hearing. The evidentiary rules are a little more lax than at trial. This would never in a million years work at trial. You can't just lob in a recorded statement. You have to testify live. You have to be there for cross-examination. But at a preliminary hearing where you're just trying to establish probable cause, you can let in hearsay sometimes. I think the judge has some discretion in that regard. But so it's not out of the ordinary.
So yes, again, it's the prosecution's burden. It's their attempt to say, hey, judge, it's in front of the court. We have sufficient evidence to establish probable cause to support these charges. It should go to trial. But what makes a preliminary hearing different than a grand jury, the defense does have an opportunity to challenge the prosecution's evidence. Shouldn't he be required to testify and the defense have an opportunity to cross-examine?
They do have an opportunity to challenge it, and I think they're making the correct argument. I think the defense is right to make that argument that we're entitled to cross-examine him. Now, if the only purpose of this testimony is to establish the authenticity of the text messages, there may not be that much to cross-examine about. I don't know if they're going to have him say anything else in the statement that's inculpatory.
Unless what he's allegedly told investigators about. Well, if it's just about what he told investigators about the text messages, sure. But if there's something more,
they really ought to have an opportunity to cross-examine him.
So you think there's a chance the judge will say, defense, sorry, this recorded statement is enough?
Yeah, the judge will look at the recorded statement probably and make a determination as to whether they should have a right to cross-examine.
Big picture here. Twiggs testifying in an upcoming trial. Let's say this goes past a preliminary hearing, there's enough evidence, goes to a trial. This is the key witness, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of other evidence in this case, right? I don't know that you need this witness to get a conviction, given everything else that we know and is available. But he is an important witness. He helps establish motive. He could theoretically testify that there was a confession of sorts. So that obviously would be very valuable if the testimony went that far. Right now, we don't know if it goes any further than authenticating these text messages.
It's an interesting case because you're seeing this attempt by the defense trying to strike at the evidence. They talk about the forensic material on the rifle, but the surveillance footage too, the messages, the Discord. I mean, There's a lot here against Tyler Robinson. I do want to switch gears with you. I want to talk about what broke a little bit earlier today. So this is Karmelo Anthony, okay? The trial exhibits from the Karmelo Anthony murder case were just released. And what the jury saw before convicting him and sending him to prison for 35 years for stabbing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf during a high school track meet in Frisco, Texas, we now have. We have these two videos back to back. And they show Karmelo in the gray hoodie walking through the stadium, and then after he stabbed Metcalf, running away. Okay, we're going to play this as we talk about it, and then I'm going to play you another video. When you look at this video, I know you've seen it before we came on here, does this affect your understanding of how the jury reached their verdict?
Well, you said the key words, running away.
Right.
And I think if the jury interpreted it the same way that I do, and I think you did, then that shows flight, that shows consciousness of guilt, that looks bad, if that's what they saw and how they interpreted it.
See, I look at also, I agree with you, and I also think about the images that were shown. I mean, we saw images now of the knife, how big the knife was.
Yep.
We saw the graphic photos of the stab wound. And I think that goes to the proportionality argument, right, which is why he lost this case. It was, you're allowed to use self-defense, you're allowed to argue self-defense, you're allowed to use deadly force, but it has to be proportional. There's two ways to look at it from my perspective. I'm curious your perspective. One, saying, okay, obviously, it doesn't make sense. He was what he used in response to what he perceived to be a threat. But then the other way I think about it is, like, does the defense look at that and say, look at these graphic images that were shown to the jury. This was too prejudicial. This was too much. An appellate court will look at this and say it was too prejudicial for the jury to see, he should get a new trial. Am I stretching when you look at these photos?
So I'm sure the defense would argue it, but I don't buy it. You have to be able to show pictures of the crime scene. You have to be able to show pictures of the murder. And by the way, one other thing about this video, the tent itself is open.
Yes.
Right? It doesn't have sides.
Right.
So the argument that he thought he was under danger and couldn't have simply fled, on the face of the video, that is a bad argument because it appears pretty easy to get out of that tent and not stab someone.
And how big the knife was, too. I think it defeats the argument. Like, it's still not clear why he brought it. Okay, I got to show you this. This body cam video of his arrest. So you can hear Anthony saying Metcalf put hands on him. And Anthony also breaks down crying, asks the arresting officer if Metcalf is going to be okay, and then at the very end admits that he did it. Just watch this.
Oh, hold on.
And I'm just protecting myself.
Where do you want me?
If somebody is shooting the victim, they need to be over there.
Under a memorial tent.
Don't reach for anything, all right, man? Stop right there for me. Dispatch 443, I got the suspects, and they're currently treating the victim. Again, he's on the north end of the stadium. All right, any weapons on you like that? Hold up here.
How long? He put his hands up here. I know I'm not.
4-4, copy, I'll be in route.
No athletes. Help me, y'all back up a little bit. Come over here for me. Come over here. I'm gonna put your handcuffs for now, okay? Dispatch 443. Everybody can slow down. I got the alleged suspect in handcuffs right now, detained.
He put his hands on me. I told him not to. He put his hands on me.
All right, see a little bit of blood on your hands there, okay? All right. So your first name is Karmelo?
Yes, sir. Karmelo.
Let's see. Hold on one second.
Is he gonna be okay?
I don't know yet, man. Karmelo. C-A-R-A.
K-A-R.
K-A-R.
M-E-L-O.
M-E-L-O. Karmelo. What's your last name?
Anthony.
A-N-T-H.
O-N-Y.
O-N-Y. What grade are you in?
I'm in 12th grade.
10th grade? You go to Emerson?
No, sir.
Where do you go? Centennial. Okay.
I'm in 12th grade. 12th grade.
12th grade?
Yes, sir.
Okay. No, Centennial. This is the alleged suspect.
Okay. I am. No, I'm not. Well, I know how it goes. I'm not alleged. I did it.
Okay.
Not alleged, I did it. What do you take away from the video?
So I think there are parts of that video that arguably would have helped Anthony. He seems cooperative. He seems sort of remorseful. He seems upset. That arguably could have helped him. But I assume that video was played for the jury. along with the other video, along with all the other evidence, and that jury of 12 people that were impaneled considered the case and 3 hours later came back with a guilty verdict, right? You have to consider it in context of everything. That video itself, that clip itself, I thought was more helpful to him than some of the...
See, I look at that, I'm saying, I haven't heard him speak before, hadn't heard him cry. That makes me wonder if he took the stand, and we see this in self-defense cases, and he acted like that and explained why he did what he did. I don't know if it would have helped him because you still have all the other problems, but it does make me wonder if he took the stand and you know, spoke that way, would have made a difference.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised that he didn't take the stand. And remember, he has lawyers. They consider putting him on the stand. They practice. They see how it would have gone. And they make a decision based on everything, whether or not he should testify. So I'm sure they thought all in it wouldn't have helped him. And it's not strange that they kept him off.
Look, at the end of the day, he committed a murder and he took a young man away from his family. Rich Schoenstein, thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. Go Knicks. Good seeing you. All right.